Today's readings are quite beautiful. The first reading from the Book of Wisdom, I would suggest, would be very helpful to read very slowly. Wisdom is the wisdom literature, poems and songs and proverbs to help people think and reflect. So in the Book of Wisdom, wisdom is perceived as feminine, gentle, available, whose radiance is unfading, and she can be readily perceived by those who love her and found by those who seek her. When I was at the end of my theological studies, I asked a very trusted spiritual guide, "What do you think? Where should I go in studies now? Should I get a doctorate?" And he smiled and he was quiet for a while. He said, "You know, you're not the smartest person in your class." And I knew that. But he said, "What you need is wisdom." And in my snappy young Jesuit response, I said, "Where can I buy that?" And we laughed. Where do you get wisdom? What is it? It is found by those who seek her. She, wisdom, hastens to make herself known in the anticipation of desires. That is, those who trust her are found by her. And later in the reading, it says, "Whoever watches for her at dawn shall not be disappointed, for she will be found sitting by the gate." So it's a wonderful thing. Whatever wisdom is it knowing a lot of things? Is it the same as prudence? Is it the same as skill based on experience? Is it having good ideas for others? The gospel today is, it's about 5 wise and 5 foolish persons. They were bridesmaids waiting for the groom and presumably the bride, and they were delayed in coming to the festival. Now remember, a parable is not history. There's a point to it. Not every detail plays out. So they take their flasks of oil to keep their lamps burning. I have my flask. The 5 had extra flasks, apparently. And they were all waiting 10, and it grew late. And so they probably fell asleep. And they said, when he comes, the 5 didn't have enough oil to keep their lamps lit. That's a cute story, isn't it? What is wisdom here? So here's my flask. I am going to make a dramatic statement. Wisdom is, what do you do with emptiness? What do you do with it? So those who don't have enough oil, they're told, go into the village and buy it. You can buy oil. They were wise to do that, I'd say. But the 5 who had enough oil went into the banquet, and the door was locked. And when the 5 that had now new oil, the bride said, I don't know you. Okay, this is a little difficult, but pay attention and think about this. I think wisdom is waiting for me to let go of the certainty of knowledge. Can I wait and not just watch for God, but watch for the opportunities to do I turn to God in my poverty, in my emptiness, in my not knowing, in my weakness of faith? This is empty. And this is a holy emptiness. Because it's waiting to be filled not by my experiences or my studies. And now I've got all the answers. Wisdom is not about answers, I've learned. Wisdom is about trusting that wisdom wants to get to me, if I have room for it. If I am filled with what I call wisdom, my own achievements, then I'm full of myself. The 5 wise virgins that had enough oil, in my opinion, they had learned about emptiness. Their faith is part of wisdom. Faith is not having answers. Faith is facing the poverty of our human minds and spirits. We can't know everything that will complete us. For instance, if I tell you a joke, but I don't tell you the punchline, what do you do with that? A duck went into a bar, climbed up on the bar stool, and said, "Got any grapes?" The bartender said, "No, we don't have any grapes. Get out of here." Now, I'm not going to tell you the rest of the joke. There is an ending to it. What do you do with that? What do you do with unanswered questions, unanswered puzzles? Can you wait by the gate to receive wisdom who is seeking for you? That's the hard part of this gospel today. There's a wisdom that is gained, I hate to say this, by suffering in all its forms, suffering my own human poverty. What do I do with it? Do I run to someplace else and get it filled up by somebody else, by some book, by some guru, by some great experiences? No, it's sitting by the gate, quietly, open. We don't like that. We don't like unproductivity. We don't like not knowing the rest of the story, the rest of the joke. The problem is that when we get filled by easy answers, we find that they are disappointments. And maybe that's the young women who had enough oil. They had learned not easy answers, not everything is solved by a quotation from Scripture. Wisdom is arrived at by watching my questions, watching my disappointments, watching my experiences of empty, and holding it out for life to fill it, for faith to fill it. But faith is not answers. Faith is a way of life that calls for me to be alert. The God who comes does not delay. my availability to be found or included, invited in, that God waits for me to be grateful for the empty. And the empty isn't to be purchased. It's to be received. That's faith. The Eucharist does not answer anything. It doesn't fulfill us. It invites us to keep living with the experiences that are not disappointments, but invitations to my truth and to our truth, that we don't have all the answers, we don't have the puzzles figured out, and we don't have the punchline to all the jokes of life. We have the encouragement of the God who is always coming, waiting for me to have enough emptiness to receive.